What's up, guys? This is Bo with the DGN Sports Network, coming to you for our Week 3 NFL picks. Thursday night just got kicked off, and looks like the Dolphins are already up 14-0, so that's a bad start to the Jags pick that I had, but we didn't get that in time, so we're just kind of keep going forward. A little recap of last week, the ESPN Pick'em. I went 8-8. I believe Wes was 8-8, and Ben, I believe he was 9-7. So overall, Ben's in the lead with 19 wins. Wes 17 wins, and I have 15 wins. So I'm definitely the guy that you want to be fading right now. But hopefully that's all about to turn around the next few weeks. So let's get started. Our first game, like I said, Dolphins and Jags. I took the Jags in the ESPN Pick'em at the -2.5. Real time, you could have got a 3, and I would have went with the Dolphins probably if I was forced to do a bet there. Sunday, we got the Bears at the Falcons. Falcons was -3.5 on the Pick'em. Real time, looks like it's settled around 3. May regret this, but I think I'm going to go with the Bears. Everything about them looks terrible. Falcons offense looks great. Good spot for the Falcons to get their first win. But I think the Bears going to keep it close and cover that 3.5. It's going to be an ugly game, I think, but I'm going to take the Bears. Next up, we got the Rams going to the Bills. The Rams have played pretty solid, had a really good showing last week against the Eagles. And a lot of sharp money coming in on the Eagles, but the Rams put it on them. Then the Bills, who've looked really good, is coming in at 2-0, but they haven't played anybody really that great so far. So this could be a good game. I'm gonna lean to the Bills at the -2.5. I think the back-to-back travel to the East Coast for the Rams may throw them off a little bit, and the Bills' offense looked really good. So give me the Bills at the -2.5. Next up, we've got the Bengals at the Eagles. Both 0-2 on the year. Bengals offense looked pretty good with Joe Burrow. Looks like they're not going to quit. Might be the backdoor cover team, but their defense is just terrible. It's a sieve. It's just not looking good at all. But the one thing about that for the Eagles is the Bengals defensive line's not going to give them pressure. So this could help out the Eagles' injury woes on the offensive line. But 6.5 on the Pick'em, 5.5. It's settled at real time. Probably going to keep going down. I just don't see the Eagles beating anyone by 6.5. So I'm going to take the Bengals here. Hopefully we'll get another backdoor cover from old Joey Burrow. Next up, we got a Washington football team at the Browns. 6.5 on the ESPN Pick'em. 7 real life. Washington is just a really bad football team. Other than their defensive line, doesn't look good at all. Not a whole lot of positive anywhere to say about them. Browns looked a little bit better last week, but they were playing that terrible Bengals defense, so it made them look pretty good. I think I'm going to lean to the Washington football team here. That defensive line may stop the Browns' running game and be the little bit of a push they need to stay within the number here. So give me the football team. Next up, we got the Titans at the Vikings. Titans are 2-0, traveling to Minnesota at 0-2. Vikings are a 2.5-point dog here at home. This one's a really sketchy fade or a spread to me. Seems like this should be a little bit more as bad as the Vikings have looked, but it's one of those that makes you think, am I overthinking it, or is Vegas trying to trick me here? But I think the Vikings may have already given up on the year. They've looked so terrible. The Cousins have just been uncomfortable. Without his Diggs, #1 receiver that left in the offseason. I'm going to take the Titans to move to 3-0 and get this cover here under the field goal. Next up, we've got the Raiders at the Pats. Raiders coming off a really big emotional win at home against the Saints. First time game in Vegas. Looks like this could be a letdown spot for them. So I'm going to take the Pats at the 6.5 here. Cam's looking really good. Got the defense, a little bit better defense than what the Raiders have seen so far too. So give me the Pats at the -6.5. Next up, we got the 49ers coming to the Giants at +4.5 for the Giants. The 49ers here. 2 weeks in a row that they will be playing at the Meadowlands. Looks like they stayed in West Virginia over the week. Rumors are coming out that the 49ers are really worried about the turf at the stadium after all the injuries they've had. They are really just torn up with the injuries. Maybe they're just playing little head games with them, but I'm going to take the Giants here. They don't look great either, but I think they got a better spot here to get the cover of the 4.5 points. Then we got the Texans, 0-2, going to the Steelers at -3.5 on the Pigskin Pickem. So far the Texans aren't getting any favors from the NFL. Playing the Chiefs and then the Ravens, and then now you got to go to the Steelers, who have one of the better defenses in the league. This is a really tough spot for them, but I think we may figure out a little bit about them this week. And give me the Texans taking the points at +3.5. The Steelers just haven't looked completely solid yet. Maybe a spot for a little letdown for them. So I'm going to go with the Texans. Next up, we got the 0-2 Jets at the Colts. It's -10.5 on the Pick'em. And that is just a lot of points. But the Colts, they have a really good offense once they get clicking a little bit, and the Jets have just looked terrible. I have no reason to bet on them except that it is 10.5 points. And then Phillip Rivers has a tendency to let down when he's a big favorite. So I'm going to take the Jets at +10.5. God, this sounds terrible even having to say it. Oh, man. All right, well, then we got the Panthers going out to the LA Chargers. Chargers are -7.5 on the Pick'em. And in real time, it looks like it's already came down to under the touchdown. I'm going to take the Panthers here over that 7.5 number. I think it may be a little bit overreaction to CMC being out. This team looked like they had a little bit going. Backup coming in, throwing the ball good to him. I think they'll keep it going. It looks like everybody's playing hard. Chargers are going to be going with the rookie quarterback again. I just don't see a rookie quarterback being a 7.5 point favorite. Anthony Lynn's too conservative of a coach to me. They're not going to cover that number. This is a 3-point win somewhere in there. So Panthers +7.5. Then we got the Cowboys going to the Seahawks. Seahawks -4.5. Seahawks coming off the big win over the Patriots, and the Cowboys got the crazy win over the Falcons from coming back for 20 points. I think the Cowboys should get a little bit more credit for this. That everything that could go wrong for them last week went wrong. They had the punt issues, they had fumbles at the beginning, and somehow they still came back and won this game. I don't know if you give that credit to the Falcons being the biggest choke artist in the NFL, or if you got to give the Cowboys a little credit here. But and the Seahawks, their offense is just rolling. It's looking great. Russell Wilson's playing great. If any knock on them, the defense does look a little subject to some points and yards being thrown up on them. And that's one thing the Cowboys can definitely do. So I'm going to take the Cowboys at +4.5. Next up, we got the Bucs going out to the Broncos at +5.5. Tom Brady had a better looking game last week for the Bucs. Looked pretty good, getting some of his receivers back, Mike Evans, but he was without Godwin. I think they'll both be back this week. So it looks like it'll be a good spot for everybody to pile on the Bucs. You got the Broncos without their starting quarterback. But for me, this is just the perfect spot to go ahead and take the Broncos at the +5.5. I like fading the popular team, very contrarian. It's just my style. So I'm going to go with the Broncos here. Next up, we got the 0-2 Lions going to Arizona, -5.5. The Lions should be 1-1. They gave that first game away. but they haven't looked good. They got issues all over the place. I just don't trust them to keep this game within 5 points, 6 points. Arizona has looked really good. Kyler Murray's looking great. Coaching staff, the way they're calling plays with the lead has been great. So I'm going to take the Cards at -5.5. Then we got what would probably normally be the game of the week. It's the Packers going to New Orleans at -3.5. Packers have been looking really good on offense. Aaron Rodgers, seems like he's on a mission or something. Running back Jones is doing great too. So they've been just really clicking. And then you got the Saints, who've not looked so good to me. Breeze doesn't throw the ball over 15 yards. The defense is so-so. I just don't see them covering 3.5. This may be the spot where they show up and they get it going, but I'm going to take the Packers +3.5 here. So then you come to Monday night game, which will be the best game of the week, probably. The defending champs, Kansas City Chiefs, heading to Baltimore Ravens at -3.5. This should be a good one. I mean, the Ravens have been really clicking on offense, looking really good. Chiefs had a little bit of a down spot last week against the Chargers, but could easily say they were looking ahead for this game. So it's hard for me to do it. I don't have a really good handicap on it, except the Ravens have been really looking good. I'm going to take the Ravens at the -3.5 to pull, I guess what you would say, the upset here. So that rounds out the ESPN Pick'em. My top 5 games of the week that we'll be putting in the SuperContest for my individual games. It's the Giants, the +4.5. Bills, -2.5. I'm going to take the Patriots, -6. Then I'm going to put the Packers in and the Bengals at +6.5. So we pull all of our games in together and we add up a score. Last week we went 3-2 in the CircaMillions contest. Almost back to even. We had a rough start on the year, but we're getting things going, and it's a long season. So hopefully you guys stay tuned and we'll get some winners out there to you. So just remember to like and subscribe. We'll try to keep doing this as much as we can. Thanks.